Hello students, in this video we will be recording for the last question of the May 2019, that is the sixth question. So let us begin. In this question they have given a scenario that there is a OCR land which is a theme park for children and adults, and the entrance tickets are sold online. So you can book the tickets online. The cost of booking the ticket for an adult is 19.99 and the cost for booking the ticket for a child is 8.99, so almost half the amount. And the booking fee, total booking fee on the total order will be 2.50, which is added to all the orders. So in the first part of the question they say that we have to design a function ticket price which will take as arguments the number of adults and children, and it will calculate the total price that needs to be paid. So we have to write a pseudocode algorithm for ticket price. So let us write that pseudocode here. So in the pseudocode we will say function ticket price. Writing the keyword function is important, and then number of adults, variable is defined, and then number, or just write adults comma children. So total number of adults will go to the adults and the number of children will go to the children. Then you put the indentation. Indentation is very important. And then what you will say, there is a variable price, and that is equal to the number of adults multiplied by 19.99 plus the number of children multiplied by 8.99, and the total fee per order, that is 2.50. So this becomes the price. And now again indentation is given and we say print the price, or instead of print we can say, okay, let me just instead of print we can say or. So instead of print we can say return price. So it is better to return price because functions generally return a value. So instead of print price, so we can just strike it off. Instead of print price, just write return price, and then we will say end of function. So we'll write here end function. So this is the pseudocode that you are expected to write. So this question is for 6 marks, and you have to first write the name of the function, 1 mark for that, then for arguments 1 mark, then for calculation of price another 1 mark, for adding the correct booking fee another 1 mark, then returning the price 1 mark. So this way the marking scheme will be divided. And if you just write return price and don't calculate the price, then you will not get any marks. So this is the marking scheme for this particular question. Now let us look at the part 2 of the same question. In this they are asking that what data type should be returned by the ticket price function, and we have to select out of the integer, real, boolean and string, and we have to justify our choice why we are picking up a particular data. So our choice should be real. See, if it is an integer value, then whatever we are calculating after the decimal, that is the floating point values, the decimal part will be lost. Only the integer part will be maintained. So integer can never be a choice. Similarly, boolean cannot be a choice because it is not a true false thing that we are storing. So real and string can be selected. If you are selecting real, then you will say that the number, the price is going to be a real number, and therefore we must, price is floating point, float or real, and therefore real number is to be selected. And if you are selecting string, then the reason will be that the price can include the symbol of pound before the price, and therefore you might return a string as an answer. So string will also be considered as the correct answer, but the actual correct answer which you should mark is the real. So now let us look at the next part of the question. In the next part of the question, they are saying that the OCR land frequently emails discount codes to the customer. Now the discount code is consisting of the last character as a check digit. Now they want to ask us, suppose the discount is 20%, you will write 20 and you will put a last character, so you can put a character of 2 here, which is a checking character, that the code that has been sent is correct as per what has been sent by the company. So they are asking what is the benefit of this. One is you can check the codes, you can verify that the user has not made up the code on their own and this is the correct code that you have generated. So this is one use. Then you can check the validity of the code using this method. And another thing is that the code has been received correctly, sent correctly, so that way you can perform three levels of check. One is the code is generated by you, then another is that the customer has received the code correctly, and then the code is being used correctly. So you can ensure all these checks by putting a last extra digit at the end of the code. Now let us look at the next part. In the next part they have given us a list of discount codes, and they are asking us state one reason why binary search cannot be used on this data. The primary condition for using binary search is that the input array should be sorted. So this array is unsorted and therefore we cannot make use of the binary search here. Then they're asking which searching algorithm can we use. The answer is we can use linear search, where we will check one by one each item and then find the discount code that we are looking for. So linear search is the best method. Now in the fourth part of the sixth question, they are asking that the OCR land keeps track of the size of the queues on its writes by storing them in an array. So they will store the queue size in the array, and he wants us to use bubble sort algorithm to arrange the queue sizes in the numerical order. So queue size is the number of people who want to write the particular write, and therefore we store how much queue is pending. Now we want to sort these queues using the bubble sort. Now bubble sort, what is the working of bubble sort? Suppose we have elements. Let me just take an example. Suppose I have the elements 5, 4, 2 and 6. Now what bubble sort will do is it will compare 5 with 4. Since 5 is large, it will swap, that means interchange the two elements. So 5, 4 will be shifted and 4 will be brought forward. Now 5 is compared with 2. Now 2 is smaller, so 4, 2, 5 and 6, this operation will be performed. Then 5 is compared with 6. Now these are already sorted, so no change will be there. Then another pass will be executed. Now 4 is compared with 2. 4 is larger, so 2, 4, 5, 6 will be performed. Now we will compare 4 with 5, no change. Then 5 with 6, no change. Then in the end we will compare 2 with 4. no change is there, 4 with 5 no change, and 5 with 6 no change. So in this complete pass no change has happened, and so the bubble sort will stop. So this is this pseudo code is based on this logic. So we have total number of swaps that are performed in a particular pass is true. That means swapping is performed. Then while swaps are still happening, we will continue in the loop, otherwise we will come out of the loop. And then we will set the swap to false. It is being used as a flag whether swapping was done in the last pass or not. So we initialize the swap again as false, and then we use the variable p for the index, and we have 0 to the queue size minus 2. Why? Because the last element is automatically considered because we are using p plus 1 here. So from 0 to the n minus 1 we will continue in the loop, and we will compare the element at p position with the element at p plus 1 position. And now if the element at p position is larger, then we will swap. So temp, we will hold the value in the temporary variable pth value. Then p plus 1 is copied into p, and then temp is copied into p plus 1. So this is the swapping operation. Then we mark the swaps as true. That means the swapping has happened in this particular pass. And then we will continue in this loop, and at the end we will go to the top to the while, and if swaps have happened in the last pass, then we will continue and perform another pass, otherwise we will stop. Now they are asking us in the question that what is the purpose of the swaps variable. The purpose of swaps variable is it is a flag variable, and it will check whether a swap was performed in the last execution, because only when a swap is performed in a complete pass, only then the new pass will be executed. Otherwise, if there was no change in the last pass, then we can stop the bubble sort algorithm. Then they are asking what is the purpose of line number 6 to 8. So as we can see here, line number 6 to 8 are being used for performing the swap operation. So you will say this swaps, the value of the index at p is copied into the temporary variable, and then the value at p plus 1 is copied into p, and then p plus 1 is updated to the temporary value which we have stored earlier. So it is performing a swapping between the values of p and the p plus 1 position. So this is the answer for this question. Then let us move to the next part. Now they are asking how we can maintain this code. One thing is we can add comments. Comments is an important part. Don't write indentation because this code is already indented. Then another way we can make this code we can name the variables in a sensible manner. That is, we can give them a proper name, like the variable p. It can be named as index or something more useful. So we can change the names of the variables in a friendly manner so that it reflects the logic in a better manner. And then we can modularize the code. That means we can define a function swap in which the swapping operation will be performed so that the code looks neat, and we can focus on the main operation that is being performed in the code. Then now let us look at the next part. So in the next part they are asking us what are the other two algorithms. So the algorithms can be merge sort for sorting. The other algorithms can be merge sort, quick sort, then heap sort can be performed, then radix sort is there, shell sort is there. So there are a number of algorithms, any two needs to be mentioned. Now let us look at the last part of this question. In this they are saying that one ride in the OCR land has a minimum height of 140 centimeter to ride alone. That means the rider should have a height of 140 centimeter. And if it is a child, that is a height is 120 centimeter, then the ride has to be performed along with an adult. and then they are saying that you have to read the height of the rider in centimeters. Then you need to ask, if needed, if the height is 120 and less than 140, then you need to ask the rider that whether they are accompanied by an adult, and then you have to output whether they are allowed to ride or not, and then only 8 people can ride the drive. Now the question is that we have to write an algorithm taking care of all these factors. So let us see the algorithm. So when we look at this algorithm, we are given that the riders is equal to 0 because initially riders are 0. Then we will count that the riders will eventually become 8, only then the program should stop. Then you would read the input height from the user. If the height is more than 150 or equal to 140, then we will say the rider is allowed, and we will increment the number of riders by 1. And if else the height of the rider is more than 120 only, then we will ask whether an adult is accompanying. If the adult is accompanying, the rider is allowed, and we will increment the riders by 1. And if it is not accompanied by an adult, we will say not allowed. And if the height is less than these two numbers, then also we will say that the rider is not allowed. So this is the algorithm for answering this question. I hope this video is helpful to you. Thank you very much.